So a lot of people have asked me over the years how I got into being an electrician, how I got into the union, why I chose that path. And I figured I would just make a comprehensive video addressing all of that I can reference so I don't have to answer it every single time it gets brought up. And I'll try to make this concise, but I'll also try to give a fair amount of detail because there is a lot to the trade and there's a lot to know. So I actually graduated high school a semester early, and I went and toured with my band at the time for 2 summers, and things kind of fell through after a while. So I came back home and I started focusing on what I wanted to do for a career when I was 18. And I was right in that middle ground to where I wouldn't been able to qualify for financial aid, but I also didn't want to start my young adult life off in a ton of debt, especially going to school for 4+ years and having to work irrelevant jobs to pay for the experience of going to school. And not to mention, student loan debt is not the only debt that most young people acquire. A lot of people have credit card, they have car loans, they have all these different things, and student loans tend to get pushed on the back burner, and then the interest just accumulates over years, and it's like you never get rid of it. So I did not want to do that, even though I did want to go to school and be an electrical engineer. So I started just getting involved in the trades in general. And it was really during that period of time where I said, you know what? I really want to get out of these brutal manual labor jobs that I feel like I have no real future in and aren't fulfilling to me and don't make me happy. Now, don't get me wrong. I respect the fuck out of hard work in all the trades. And I do firmly believe that those experiences helped instill work ethic in me and helped shape the path I'm now on. But it's just not what I wanted to do long term. And that's when I considered going back to school and potentially becoming an electrical engineer. But then I really thought about that and I was like, you know what? I would not be happy either, sitting hunched over at a desk every day of the week, analyzing schematics and dealing with office politics and customers and other tradesmen. I like working with my hands. I like building things and fixing things and solving problems and troubleshooting. I am a busybody and I have a busy mind. And that's when I found out about the apprenticeship through the IBW and how they give you excellent benefits and wages and a clear-cut path to your journeyman's license. And you make just as much money as electrical engineers do without the debt. And I was like, you know what? That's what I want to do. So besides the fact that being an electrician is both a great blend of the physical work and the technical, cerebral, problem-solving, and critical thinking skills, which is like a perfect fit for me, there are a lot of other reasons why I thought it was an interesting trade to pursue. Among those is the fact that it can never be outsourced. You always need someone physically there. You always need an electrician on site to do the work. You can't outsource it to someone in India who's willing to work for 20% of the pay that you do. 2, it can't be automated, or we are a long ways away from that. Unlike a lot of these fast food jobs or factory assembly jobs that are, close to being automated within the next 10 years, being an electrician, it requires human hands. It's too technical of work, and there's so much variation to the trade and so many different applications that you need a human to be able to do it. So my job will never be automated within my lifetime, which is a really good feeling. 3, it's a technical skill that most people don't know shit about that guarantees you permanent job security no matter where you're at in the world. Regardless of what the economy is doing, whether 50% of people are out of a job or whatever, people are still dependent and reliant on electricity to function and survive in the modern world. People still need their lights to turn on. They need their plugs to work. They need their refrigerator to work. They need their air conditioner and their heat to work, especially in the winter in states like Michigan. So regardless of what's happening out there economically, I am always needed to build things and install things and fix and troubleshoot and repair things, which is extremely valuable. Same thing with plumbing. People are dependent on running water no matter what, all the time. So if plumbing is a skill that you know and you're good at, you're always going to have a job and someone's always going to be willing to pay you to do it. With that being said, what does an electrician actually do on a daily basis? Because before getting in and doing this for the last 5 years, I really had no fucking idea. I thought electricians installed lights and plugs and maybe played with little wires and panels all day or some shit. I really had no fucking idea what actually goes into the trade. And really, at least as far as the construction side of the trade goes, it's pretty much split into 3 main categories, and that would be residential, commercial, and industrial. With residential, that's just houses, wiring up plugs and switches and a panel and a circuit for your microwave and your washer and dryer and things like that. And commercial, that's your office buildings, your gas stations, your retail stores, things like that, malls. And then the industrial side would be your big auto plants, your power plants, all of the big factories and facilities. As far as what an electrician actually does on a daily basis, It really just depends on what part of the industry that you fall under or work mostly in, because it's so varied. A commercial electrician is going to do a hell of a lot more than a residential electrician, and they get paid a hell of a lot more because you're going to be running and bending and installing conduit and installing fire alarm systems, and you might be installing security systems or cameras if you're wiring up a bank or an airport or something like that. And industrial electricians do a hell of a lot more than commercial electricians because there's just more stuff. There's more shit going on. It's larger scale. You're wiring up a chemical plant and you're going to be running rigid conduit, which is extremely technical to bend, and it has to be super precise, and it's heavy as fuck, and it's got to be threaded, and there's motors and motor controls and three-phase circuits and relays and instrumentation. There's just so much going on, and there's so much to know. Even outside of those three main construction categories, residential, commercial, and industrial, there are so many other different aspects and facets to the electrical industry. There's automotive electricians who wire up cars. Most vehicles made nowadays are heavily reliant on electronics. I don't know shit about that, at least as of making this video. There's aviation electricians who literally fucking wire up jets and planes and shit, and you could get a job working for the US government or the military and get paid extremely well doing that, because that's a technical, nuanced skill that most electricians don't even know about because it's so specialized. So you're never gonna know it all. No one can know it all. There's so much to the electrical industry, but I think that's a big reason why it's so cool and appealing to me, because you can find your niche somewhere and be really fucking good at what you do, and there's still more to learn over here and over there, and you can always be learning and bettering yourself. And that's the kind of person I am, is I always want to be constantly learning and finding ways to become more successful and intelligent and better myself and being more skilled and useful and independent. And I like being able to look at something at the end of the day and say, I produced that, I fixed that, I did something that added value to someone's life. And it gives me a sense of honor and self-respect and dignity, and also a sense of independence. So among all those reasons is why being an electrician was super appealing to me personally. So anyways, that's my video. Thanks for watching.